The Laval Rocket are North Division champions and are headed to the Eastern Conference Finals, baby. Lots to discuss. Lots has happened since our last show. The Laval Rocket lost Game 4, 5-1 to the Rochester Americans, and then came back Game 5, do or die, and gave probably the best performance this season. A dominant 5-0 win and eliminates the Rochester Americans. And now we look ahead to the Charlotte Checkers at the Eastern Conference Finals. Lots to break down here, Anthony, and it all starts right here, right now.
Turn up your volume. Because you're about to listen to The Sick Podcast. Rocket Report.
That's it!
The sickest Laval Rocket podcast. It's gonna be sick.
That's right. Producer Shane here, joined as always by the voice of your Laval Rocket on BPM Sport, Anthony Marcotte. Anthony, how's the voice today? A few of those calls yesterday, right?
Yeah, I had a few of them. You're absolutely right. But ready to go on Wednesday night. It's going to be fun to see that team playing in the semifinals. Lots of emotion, but an impressive showing from the Laval Rocket last night for sure.
A big bounce back, right? We know Game 4 did not go their way at all. A 5-1 loss, and I guess we'll start there. We'll start with the negative, and then after that, it'll all be positive from there. But it's important to reminisce and get back to that game a little bit because it was a tough showing for the Rocket. For the most part, it wasn't good, and we can dissect through it all, but I think we'll just skim through it. Really, the sore thumb of that game to me was Logan Mailloux. I thought he had probably his toughest game of the playoffs so far. Directly responsible for 2 goals, took a penalty that led to a goal. It just was not his game. And, looking at yesterday, I thought he bounced back really well. Didn't play his best game by any means, but he was much more conservative with the puck. He held on. He made good passes, limited the turnovers. It was just one sore thumb in that game for Logan Mailloux, right?
Yeah, it wasn't a good game for him. Nothing was going his way. Game number 4.
No.
First of all, he took a penalty. He was on the bench when Rochester scored their first goal of the game, directly responsible for goal number 2. And then he was on the bench in the penalty box as well when they scored on a 5-on-3 power play at the beginning of the second period. And at that time, it was a bad situation to expect coming back in this game and get the W. So it started on the back foot for Mailloux, and he needed to step up, and I think he was much better in game number 5.
He absolutely was, and that was important, right? To not go on a streak of bad games, to really bounce back quickly. And listen, let's get into some of the positives, because one guy that bounced back beautifully, and I talked about him after game 3. I thought he had a tougher game for his standard. Adam Engstrom was by far the best player for the Laval Rocket in game 4. And again, yesterday, I thought he had a fantastic game. What a bounce back for him. For a young player to be able to kind of reset on the fly like that and give great performances when it matters most, I think is incredibly encouraging for Adam Engstrom.
Well, it's been a few years, Shane, that we've talked about depth-wise, like the left side of the defense for Montreal is looking outstanding. And even though they decided to move last summer, Jordan Harris and that Patrick Laine trade, they had a lot of pieces out there, and they still have a few legitimate options defensively. And I think Adam Engstrom goes under the radar just a little bit in that many defensemen on the left side of the defense. And for now, there have been a few average performances from him in these playoffs, but he's been mostly good out there for the Laval Rocket. And you're right, I thought he was really good in game number 4, even though the team lost. and once again came back with an excellent performance last night. And now he's playing with his Swedish teammate Gustav Lindstrom out there.
That's
These
right.
two have been really good. So, and like we said last week, Shane, together in some facets of his play, it looks a lot like Mike Madison out there.
Mhm. The
The
movement.
way he
Oh my
carries the
God.
puck,
Yeah.
excellent skater from both sides of the ice, involves himself offensively, doesn't have a booming shot, but he can bring that puck to the net.
Mhm.
I've been impressed with the poise that he's been playing with during those playoffs. And last year, a lot of good words about his play with Rogla in the
Mhm.
SHL. He played really good out there in an unexpected run for Rogla in the SHL playoffs because he would have joined the Rocket much earlier last year, but we've never seen him because he was going far with the SHL,
Yeah.
his SHL team last year. So that's why he just joined the team at the beginning of the year. But we'll see how it goes for Engstrom, but he goes into that pit of excellent defenders that will have a legitimate shot to play eventually in the NHL, I think.
Absolutely. No, I loved what I've been seeing from him the last two games. After a counter performance in game three, but he forgot about that. He moved on and he improved. That's what you want to see from your young players. Listen, we won't stay too long on game number 4 because there isn't really much to discuss there. It was mostly bad. And to quote Martin Saint Louis, I'm not going to talk about the refs. I had, last show I said, hey, the officiating has been good so far in the AHL. I had to jinx it. I really had to jinx it. But listen, neither
It
here
was
nor
a
there.
mess in game number 4. You can tell the
Yeah.
right thing. It was not a good performances by the referees in game number 4. And last night, I thought they blew that goal on Brandon Geniac's goal that should have been allowed, I think. But who knows? I mean, the goaltending and interference have been a tough rule or to comprehend from everyone. So they decided to cancel that Geniac's goal that I thought was good. But and then on Joshua Roy's goal, Laurent Dauphin is doing the exact same thing. He's right in front of Devin Levi.
Yeah.
I don't think there was interference there, but it was the exact same play, like the earlier in the period for Geniac's goal. But hey, who knows? It
Yeah.
didn't change the
No, that's it.
the game,
At,
obviously.
at least it wasn't a one goal game, right?
Yeah.
If let's say the Rocket had lost in overtime, that would have hurt a lot more. But hey, 5-0 win. I think we'll move past that. But yeah, worth mentioning that the officiating is back to normal now. We had a good little stretch, but hey, it had to come down at some point. But moving on now to yesterday's game, because that's really where we're going to hone in. So much to talk about. A huge 5-0 win. And Anthony, I mean, the Rocket have accustomed us to these big bounce back performances after a bad game. And yesterday was no different. I don't remember a team that has done this so well, right? Just rinse and learn and go into the next game and dominate. I mean, the Americans had nothing yesterday. Rocket smothered them. They had no offense, no defense. There was one team on the ice, and it happened to be the good guys.
Well, a commitment from everyone for sure. Right from the get-go, guys were ready to pay the price, blocking shot
Oh,
on from everyone. And I thought that the changes that Pascal Vincent made yesterday were good ones. Juggling between Brendan Gignac going to play on the first line,
that's
it
right.
jolted him, playing him with Dauphin and Barré Boulin. These guys had an excellent afternoon, and Sean Farrell probably his best game in the playoffs with 3 points. Playing on the second line with Joshua Roy and Oliver Kapanen. This was an excellent line yesterday. But with that said, I think defensively everyone decided to just be better and involve
Right.
themselves just a little bit more. And you're right, they completely shut things down offensively from Rochester. They were a shell of themselves offensively. Their transition wasn't good. They couldn't stretch the passes down the middle, and because the Rocket defensemen were able to shut them down before they could even enter the offensive zone. So a really strong showing from everyone. Everybody could have deserved to be a part of the 3 stars of the game because there was many options.
Yeah.
What can you say? It's a 5-0 performance, but a real 5-0. It wasn't really a game because Laval really took over it.
That's it. There was no contest there, and you know, the Americans did get a few shots on goal and a few scoring opportunities, but for the most part, defensively, everyone was bought in, right? Everyone was back checking. Everyone was finishing their checks. Forwards, defensemen, but again, first star of the game, I think it had to be Cayden Primeau, and let's hone in on him a little bit here because we've talked at great lengths about this rotation, right? With Jacob Fowler, 1 game in, 1 game out. I mean, at this point, I think it's over, right?
Well, I don't know.
We thought it was over last time, right? So
yeah, well, I think it should be over. But when you read between the lines, there's clearly an aspect of development that Montreal really wants to see. Pascal Vincent broached the subject after last night's game, telling us that the team really wants to see their young players play in a different kind of environment where pressure is packed, and they want to see players being put in that exact same situation. But the thing is, I think it's Cayden Primeau's team. The team plays differently when there's Primeau back there. I think he's the backbone of that hockey team,
yeah,
and you need to respect that. And you need to respect that he won the 3 games in that series against Rochester. He clearly deserves to start next series against Charlotte. It would be really tough to comprehend if they don't start Primeau. If we see Fowler the next night, okay, it would work in my mind. But to not start Primeau in the first game of that the semifinal would be a head scratcher for me.
Well, you know, the decision remains to Pascal Vincent, and again, he hasn't really given us much material to doubt him. So I fully trust his decision. I think he'll make the right one. But credit to Cayden Primeau yesterday, a big shutout in a game that mattered most, right? And it's impressive to see how he's able to bounce back from the start of this season. He started with the Habs, and it was not good. I mean, no sugarcoating. It was not good, right? Gets sent down to Laval, and some players might take that, you know, as an offense and not really try their hardest, but not Cayden Primeau. I mean, he stepped up his game big time. He was the best goalie in the AHL in the regular season, and so far he's been one of, if not the best goalies in the playoffs. And yesterday he proved it again. Credit to him. He well deserving of that first star. Anthony, a point that we've been really pushing on these shows for the Rocket has been discipline, right? They were the most penalized team in the regular season. And again, in the playoffs, they've struggled with that a bit. But yesterday, they made a real effort with that. And I mean, they got a few penalties, right? Florian Jacki got pushed on Devin Levi, and Florian Jacki got the penalty. So again, we won't really count those. We won't count those, but they did a great job staying disciplined and winning the special teams battle. They didn't allow a goal on the penalty kill, and they scored 2 on the power play. That's going to be a big factor next series, and we're going to get into Charlotte later on, but they have to take this momentum and really remember what they did in Game 5, right?
Well, and it happens more often than not. When you win your special teams, you're in a good situation. And
Exactly.
It was the complete opposite in game number 4, where Rochester scored twice and we couldn't provide any offense from our power play. But sometimes when you skate, you're going to be rewarded. And I think that the 2 calls against Rochester in the first period was because Laval was putting pressure. They were relentless offensively. And when you use your speed, well, sometimes you're going to get rewarded by it. And Rathbone and Rochek were penalized. And on the second power play, that's where Alex Barré-Boulet was able to score the first goal on the power play. But on their first power play, I thought that they were able to bring some momentum to it, and they kept on building on that power play, and they really took over the first period. So if you control your penalty kill, you use it to your advantage, you're in a good situation on the special teams.
No doubt about that. No doubt about that. It's very, very important to win those battles and stay disciplined. Now, back on the lineup changes here, we'll focus in on a few. And the first I want to mention is one that might have flown under the radar, but he ended up getting the third star of the game. Zach Hayes slots in for William Trudeau. A bit of a surprise. We didn't expect that, but turned out to be amazing. He was one of the better players for the Laval Rocket, blocking shots. He took a shot on the goal that Sean Farrell deflected, so that led to a goal. He was involved. I really, really like Zach Hayes' game. So, I mean, I think we have to assume they're going to stick with that formula for next game, right?
Well, it will depend about the injury situation for Tyler Waterspoon and William Trudeau. If he was a scratch last night, it was because of an injury. We don't know about the nature of it, but both lefties are out as of now. So it was an opportunity to bring Hayes in that clinching game of the series, and boy, was he good last night. I got to give the guy credit. He's been flying under the radar all year, played 46 games during the season, but a steady presence out there. He knows exactly what he is as a hockey player, plays physical, bangs some bodies, block shots, respected kind of hockey player out there. And sometimes you got to need those guys that bring some depth. And if you need them, you play them. And if you need to play the rookies, well, he will accept his role and be sitting on the press box, but be ready as soon as he gets a call. So credit to Zach Hayes. He was ready to go, and what a performance for him. He's a guy that is a little bit shy. He's not the kind of guy that you will talk each and every game after a good performance, but it was deserving last night because he was good, the blocking shot, and even contributing offensively on that second goal.
No, he had a huge game, and I hadn't seen the lineup before because I was in attendance in Place Belle yesterday, and what an atmosphere it was, by the way. But back on Hayes, I hadn't checked the lineup before the game, and I see him starting the game. I'm like, whoa, what's Hayes doing there? I mean, is someone injured? And I look, Trudeau's not there. Oh, okay, that's interesting. And I didn't really think much of it, but turns out he had a phenomenal game and was a big factor in helping the Rocket win. And another guy that slotted back into the lineup was the Honey Badger himself, Xavier Simoneau. Maybe not at 100%, but he took Luke Tuck's place. Luke Tuck, that is. And I was a little surprised because we had talked about that, right? When Simoneau comes back, is Luke Tuck really going to come out? He's been really good so far in this series, and Pascal Vincent opted to go with the original line of Candara, Hervé Pinard, and Simoneau, and it turned out that paid off. They were excellent, and so was Simoneau.
Yeah, I thought that line against Cleveland was the most consistent line of the Rocket. So it was it was not a good situation to see Simoneau going down after game number one. I think that he's having an excellent playoffs for Laval. He gets under the skin of everyone. Plays the game the right way. Always in front of the net. He's such a small body, but plays like a monster out there. He can so tough physically, and he got asked a question last night that I thought was excellent. The question was, "Are you?" I'm just trying to translate the exact question that was asked to him, but are you more Are you better getting under the skin of your opponent, or are you tougher physically? What's the main asset of your play? And he couldn't answer it. So that's telling. That's telling because he's been
Yeah.
playing with injuries. It's been the case last year. I know that he's banged up physically, but what he told us last night after the game was, well, it would have taken a lot of stuff, so I would miss that game. So he really wanted to play. But like I asked Pascal Vincent before the game, is he really able to play? Or if he's 75%, do you think it's a good idea to bring Simoneau in the lineup? Well, I will take an 80% Simoneau any day of the week with the kind of performance that he put on last night.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, I saw him, following along Levi's little Jedi prayer routine or whatever he does. And yeah, he was a pest yesterday. And you need that. I mean, the mental game is a big asset, a big factor in the playoffs. And it definitely rattled the Americans. I mean, they were off their game from the start, essentially, but he was
On
he was
every
certainly a
damn
factor.
whistle, he was talking to Levi. It was crazy.
Oh yeah.
And
Hilarious.
and one of those after one of those whistles, there was a scrum where I think
Yeah.
Jacky was involved in the corner,
Yeah.
and Simoneau on the other side, a straight route to Levi just to talk to him with. Like the linesmen and the referees, they were occupied with that melee in the corner. So Simoneau used that that situation to go on the other side of the ice to talk to Levi directly. So he took a few seconds before the linesmen or the referees were able to see what was happening behind their backs. So that's the
Mhm.
kind of player Simoneau is. And after the game, I asked him if what kind of relationship does he have with Devin Levi now
Yeah.
after 5 games like that? And because they had a warm embrace when they shook hands at the end of the game,
Mhm.
and he wouldn't tell me what was said, but he told me, well, they respect the kind of competitor that I am, and I think
Mhm.
they would appreciate to have me on their side of things. So it always surprises me how intense hockey can be during a playoff series, but when it's over, and you got to
Exactly.
give the other team credit. So props to Simoneau, and good luck to the Charlotte Checkers because they don't know Simoneau, but they will learn to. They will quickly learn how he could be a tough ass during a playoff series.
Absolutely. It's so funny. I had a great time yesterday watching that. Before we move on, folks, I want to remind everyone that we are proudly brought to you by Betway, okay? And you can still go all the way with Betway and get a free bet up to $200 if your first bet loses. You can scan that QR code on the screen or click on the link in the details section to create an account and redeem your welcome offer. Now, the offer is only available for new customers. Terms and conditions apply. The offer's not available in Ontario. You must be 18 years or older, and please play responsibly. Anthony, we talked a little bit about this player a few shows back, saying that, hadn't really gotten his groove yet, and he got a lucky goal. He was in the right spot, and he still put it in, but he got a goal, and the monkey's off his back now. Joshua Roy with a 3-point performance involved in both zones. I thought he had a phenomenal game yesterday. And since that goal, I thought he's played really well.
Well, 3 games in a row with a goal for Joshua Roy. I thought he was a dominant hockey player in these 3 games in Laval. Not in game number 3, but he scored in that game, and
Yeah.
like you said, removed the monkey off his back, and then he took over. Was the best player on his line in these 2 games, and this is excellent news for the Rocket because I really believe in Joshua Roy's talent. I,
Mm-hmm.
I just need it's a question of consistency in him. We always know we've seen the kind of player he is,
Yeah.
but when he's on, he's really on and tough to handle for opponents. So good. It's an excellent news, and well, it's a brand new combination with Kapanen and Farrell. I
Mm-hmm.
expect to see them again on Wednesday because they were really good last night. So you just
Yeah.
want to see if they could do the same thing the next night. But yeah, Josh, really happy for him. when he's on his game, he's a strong guy to handle for sure.
Absolutely. And you mentioned that the lines got shaken up a little bit after game 4. We expected some changes, and there were quite a few. First line changed, right? It was Dauphin, Barré-Boulet, and Gignac, as you mentioned. A second line, like you just said, was Kapanen, Roy, and Farrell, a bit of a younger line. And then the third line was Condara with Harvey Pinard and Simoneau. The fourth line remained unchanged. The pace line, I call them, because they are in your face and they will work you. But let's kind of dissect that a little bit. And we're assuming that those will be the lines to start the next series. But first line there, Dauphin, Barré-Boulet, and Gignac. What did you like about that line? What do you think makes them work together?
Well, I see two things in that move from Pascal Vincent. First of all, he wasn't really happy about his veterans after game number 4.
Yeah.
And sometimes you just want to tell your veterans, hey, it's your turn now. Find your solutions together. So they bring Gignac with Barré-Boulet and Dauphin. Brand new combination out there because we didn't see Gignac pretty much all year. And when he played, he played mostly at center before his injury. So now he's playing on the wing. I don't have anything to say about his play on the wing. I think he's better as a centerman, but he can use his speed on playing on the left side of the wall. So and last night Brendan Gignac is a north-south player. So I thought it's a simple kind of hockey game that he is able to bring. And with Dauphin and Barré-Boulet, it was the right combination at the right time for the team. So a good performance. He was playing with some flow last night, I think, with some wings on the left side. So good performance for Gignac. And then Barré-Boulet with the first goal of the game, much more involved than he was in game number 4. I saw a lot of frustration from Barré-Boulet. I don't know what happened in game number 4, but he was completely off his game.
Oh, yeah.
But props to him. He found a way to come back stronger for game number 5. And Dauphin has been a steady presence all year. So this was not a surprise for me to see him bounce back for game number 5.
Absolutely. And that second line now, I mean, they combined for 7 points yesterday.
Yeah.
Roy and Farrell both had 3, and Kapanen scored a big goal there. So, they're a young line, right? But all 3 players are very young players, but they bring so much skill, so much pace. What do you think works with that line moving forward?
Yeah, there's a lot of skill, like you said, on that line. And some people underestimate the AHL and the way that you need to adapt your play when you join that league. And maybe Kapanen himself underestimated the challenge that it would be to join the Rocket, new environment, and there's been some good performances, but they've been pretty subpar performance for a guy of his caliber. I thought in game number 4 he wasn't good, but he was much better last night. New line mates with Farrell, a dynamic kind of hockey player that can take over his line. And I thought Farrell was really good last night. Good attributes offensively. He's a gifted player. When he has the puck in the offensive zone, you got to be aware of what the number 15 can do. Joshua Roy, a slick pair of hands like we've seen on his goal, was able to bring the puck, toe dragging the puck in the slot to have a good shot to the net. He could have scored a few more goals last night, I thought, Joshua Roy, though. So a brand new combination, and I'm looking forward to see if they can stick together and find their solutions themselves. But it's going to be a challenge if they bring their A game like they did last night for the Checkers.
That's the thing, right? Yesterday was an A game, right? We've talked about this a little bit because the games that they won the series, they weren't perfect. They weren't perfect. Yesterday was as perfect of a game as you can get. I mean, defensively, offensively, it was chef's kiss. Beautiful stuff. And that third line. Now, we talked about Simoneau, right? But I call this the shit disturber line. And I think I stole that from you. You said that a few shows back. But
yeah,
Lucas Candara, I think he deserves a little bit of appreciation, because I thought he had a huge game yesterday. The captain steps up, right, scores a huge goal to start the period, put the Rocket up 3-0. That line was in their face all game long, wearing them down. I did not envy the players from Rochester playing against them yesterday.
Well, Condada is a heavy kind of presence out there. Each and every shift, he's a tough guy to defend
Yeah.
because down low is a force. It will make you pay the note each and every shift when you're playing with your back against the wall or the face against the boards as well. He's a force, really strong kind of guy. And when you take a look at his record, 5 goals in the regular season. He already has 3 in the playoffs in 9 games. So five goals in 63 this year. And now he's having some results offensively. And I thought his goal, the third one at the beginning of the second period, pretty much sealed things last night. It was already in the bag for the Rocket at that time. The captain comes in and gets that big goal to start the second. So it's been excellent playoffs for Kundada, a respected veteran. Everyone likes Lucas around that dressing room. He's good with the kids. He's close from the veterans. He's pretty much down the middle between the veteran players and the young ones. So it's been an excellent choice as a captain, even though he's an English-speaking guy. We don't care. I mean, he was the right choice at the right moment for a young upstart team all year. So credits to Kundada that played a really nice game last night with his line mate Simoneau, like we said. And Hervé Pinard, he has an identity. He knows exactly what to do out there. He's a hound. He's tough to defend as well. Goes to the net. Will hit hard, and he just need a goal. I think he deserves a goal really soon. He had his fair chances recently, but the puck wouldn't go in the net. It's his time now, and I think it will happen quickly, and that's the semifinals.
Absolutely, but he's relentless. He never stops, never takes a shift off, and much respect for Raphaël Harvey Pinard. What a player! The fourth line was maybe the quietest yesterday. They still had a great game, right? But they remained unchanged. The pace line, as I like to call them, they're Florian Jacki with Owen Beck and Jared Davidson. They like to run guys. They play a heavy game. They can also hurt you offensively. I thought they played another solid game, right? But maybe a little less of a standout compared to the other 3 lines, right?
Yeah, I think we saw the same thing. They didn't push things offensively like we're used to see, but they clearly were not bad defensively as well. I thought they were part of the solution during that game. They were playing against good lines on the other side, but they were able to shut them down. So no worries. It's not an average performance. It's a good performance, but no production on the score sheet, but I don't mind one bit.
Absolutely. Now, the defensive pairings also changed up a little bit, as we mentioned there. Zach Hayes was paired up with David Reinbacher. Noel Hoffenmeyer was with Logan Mayu. And then Adam Engstrom, as we said, was with Gustav Lindstrom. Safe to assume they're going to roll with that on Wednesday night, right?
Well, it will depend about William Trudeau. We don't know the extent of his injury, probably upper body for him. If he's able to play, I think he will play that game. But I don't think it's Zach Hayes that goes off because he was so good last night. Do you really want to take Zach Hayes off that lineup? I don't know. We'll let the coaches take their decisions, but he was that good in that hockey game to make things interesting if you need to make a move.
He really was. It's a testament. I mean, it was a group effort yesterday, and the Laval Rocket eliminate and they decimate the Rochester Americans 5-0, and they head to the Eastern Conference Finals against the Charlotte Checkers. So let's talk a little bit about the Laval Rocket's next opponent. a team that they have not faced this season. So a new team. Maybe some Laval fans are not as familiar with them. So we'll try to fill them in a little bit as to what they can expect. This is a more veteran team, right, Anthony? They're not as young or maybe talented, let's say, as the Rochester Americans were. But what a team. I mean, they just swept the two-time Calder Cup champions in the Hershey Bears in 3 games. So that's a testament to how good they are. And they're coming in rested, right? They've had a few days off now. So let's talk a little bit about which players the Laval Rocket kind of have to keep an eye on and game plan for. Who are those players, Anthony?
Well, I got to say that I have a few I will need to watch a couple of games during the playoffs because I don't have any kind of things to make myself clear or opinions about them. Because, like you said, the Rocket haven't faced them forever.
Right.
I think the last time we played them was in 2019 or so. It's a completely different team. It's a different farm team because at that time they were the Carolina Hurricanes farm team. Now it's the Florida Panthers. And like you said, it's a veteran kind of hockey team. I don't see a lot of top-notch prospect for the NHL. There's a few of them like Justin Sordiff that we need to take care of and take a look at. But besides Sordiff, I don't see like legitimate NHL prospect in that lineup. But on the veteran side of things, there's a lot of proven AHL veterans. CJ Smith, Kyle Criscolo, Mackenzie Entwistle. There's John Leonard, which is the older brother of Ryan Leonard of the Washington Capitals. John Leonard has been a force in the AHL for many years. Defensively, Mike Benning is there. Trevor Carrick, another veteran. Tobias Bjornfot is part of that defense core as well for Charlotte. And in front of the net, there's Capo Kakkonen, the former Minnesota Wild goaltender, who's now part of that team since the trading deadline. The Panthers added depth with Kakkonen, and because he went through waivers, but they were able to place him in Charlotte. And he's been their go-to guy during that playoffs, winning the 3 games against Hershey. So that's how I can explain what is in front of the Rocket. But we'll need to take a look at what are their forces. But I can tell you that it's been impressive to see them blanking the Hershey Bears, the 2-time defending AHL champions, in 3 games. That was not part of what I was thinking before that series.
No, that's it. And I mean, we have to give a little bit of context. The Hunter Shepard, the goaltender of Hershey Bears, was not good.
No, he was not.
To put it frankly, he was not good. But nonetheless, they were able to sweep the defending champs. So that's still a big testament to how they play and how good they are. A few more players of note there. Rasmus Asplund. I don't know if I pronounced that right, but he's also pretty good. And former top 5 pick there, Jesse Puljujarvi, is also with that team. Obviously not having the career that was hoped for him, but still a very good AHL player. So those are names to keep an eye on. But really the identity, it seems, of the Charlotte Checkers is defense, right? They will smother you, and they're veterans, right? So they know how to play that game. And on the penalty kill, I mean, they're 92.3% these playoffs on the penalty kill. They've only allowed 2 goals, but they've scored 3 on the penalty kill. So in a sense, getting a power play against Charlotte might not even be to Laval's advantage. That's just how good they are defensively.
Well, all year I've been thinking that the North Division has been a better division than the Atlantic. I don't know if it will be the case during that series because it's a mostly division-driven league. You play most of your games against your inside your division, and when you play against the other division, the Atlantic, it's only a couple of games per year. But for whatever reason, the Charlotte Checkers haven't been on the schedule for a couple of years now. But when I take a look and what I know about the other teams, I really thought that the depth in the North Division was just a little better, slight advantage in front of the Atlantic. I know that they had a really bad team in the Bridgeport Islanders who've been a laughing stock for a couple of years. But the other teams, I don't know. I'm kind of in the middle in my evaluation about the division. We'll see what the series will bring, but there's a lot of question marks because we really don't know that team, and it's the same thing for them. They have no game plan for what they will see with the Rockets. So it will be a crash course for everyone in the next couple of days to get prepared, to prepare themselves for Wednesday night.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, both teams are coming into to Wednesday night in a different environment, let's say, right? The Laval Rocket just went 5 games with the Americans, quick turnaround, back to a new series. But the Checkers they swept their series, so they've been off for a few days now. They've been rested. They've been game planning, right? So who do you think ultimately has that advantage in game 1?
Tough to tell. Pascal Vincent told us last night that he was ready to go and happy to see the next series starting really quickly instead of having a good break like we've had between the Cleveland and the Rochester series. So,
yeah.
And well, June is in a couple of days, so you gotta accelerate things because I mean, somewhere you gotta have an off season for everyone. So, and there's still 2 series left to play, and they are all best of 7 with traveling between the cities. So it better get going quickly. And there's still one of the quarterfinals in the league still haven't been decided. There's game number 5 tonight in Colorado between the Abbotsford Canucks and the Eagles. So we'll see if the favorites, the Eagles, can win at home that game and clinch a spot in the semifinals. They will face Texas, who've won last night against Milwaukee. The Québécois, Justin Ricovian, was able to score that difference maker at the end of the third period. He's having a tremendous series, 15 points, best AHL scorer as of yet in the playoff, Justin Ricovian.
Yeah, so it's not going to be smooth sailing from here on out for the Laval Rocket, but it all starts Wednesday night in Place Belle in Laval. So make sure you get your tickets, folks. Be there. Encourage the team. The atmosphere yesterday was unbelievable. Just a great place to play hockey and watch hockey. So I encourage you all to be there. And you can tune in at 7 p.m. on BPM Sport to listen to that man right there, Anthony Marcotte, give you the description of the game. Anthony, before we wrap this one up, anything else to add in preparation for the Eastern Conference Finals?
Well, when you'll be able to listen to us on the podcast, tickets are now available. So make sure to take a look and fill the Place Belle to the rafters like it was the case and the series last night. Obviously, it's been all sellouts since the beginning of the playoffs, and I expect a lot of enthusiasm around the team in the semifinals. I remember 3 years ago when we were in the exact same spot against Springfield. It was an incredible series that ended in the 7th game in Springfield. So I hope if we go that far, that the way the team approached things all year to be able to get that regular season championship, it might pay off at the end in a 2-3-2 format. If it goes far, I think it could favor the Rocket at the end.
Absolutely. Well, we'll be tuning in and we'll be bringing you more of the Rocket Report. We're hoping for Thursday to talk about Wednesday's game, so stay tuned for that. Make sure you're subscribed. Turn on that notification bell so you get an alert whenever we upload a new show. And you can follow us as well on Twitter at SickPodRocket. You can also follow Anthony. He did great content about the Rocket and more, right? Talk a little bit box, talk a little bit of hockey, everything in between. And myself at Producer Shayne. You can find us as well on Twitter. So for Anthony Marcotte, I am Producer Shayne. Thank you to Sammy and Yellow back at Master Control. This has been another great edition of the Sick Podcast Rocket Report. Let's go Rocket.
And that's a wrap. Hope you don't miss us too much until next time. Follow the Sick Podcast Rocket Report on YouTube, X, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts.